Welcome back to schizophrenic weather.
Oh, it's that schizophrenic? I thought it was...
I mean, it was like 93 degrees 2 days ago, and now it's like cold and thunderstorming.
Yeah.
You can't hear the thunder because Amarith is just so good at editing that out.
I just, I can just...
It totally didn't just stop
rain.
like half an hour ago. It's Amarith is just really good at editing out.
So good at sound editing.
Yeah, just the best.
You what?
I think the best, like the most important part of sound editing is just being meticulous when it comes to like high quality. Like if you're engineering a podcast and you're like I remember we tried doing a podcast once and I spent hours just like cutting out pauses and like shutting off certain people's mics when they were making weird mouth noises and just getting it to where if you're wearing headphones, that whole thing sounded so crisp. And then we never released it because that's what I wanted to do before we started doing On the Branch. Is I wanted to do a podcast about pop culture stuff, and like none of us had interest, but me. I had interest and no one wanted to sit around and like Jamie was so bad that for the first podcast she like sat down with a bowl full of ice cream and was going like into the mic the whole time, and I had to get rid of every one of those little fucking mouth sounds because Jamie couldn't wait half an hour to have her ice cream.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you like what was the first episode about? That was about fucking.
It was about My Little Pony timeline, which turned out to be completely like discredited in canon later on, because basically like Hasbro had this opinion of like, well, fuck these great ideas the fans had. Let's go with something way less interesting.
Let's go with this dumbassery of
fucking
something else.
I mean, it is a show for little girls, right? We're watching a show for little girls. We shouldn't get mad when it clearly has the bad plot of a show for little girls. But like, you could do better. Like, I mean,
you could do way better.
That show gained the popularity it did because it was better than other kids' shows.
And then they just like stopped caring.
Yeah, they did stop caring. They're like, nope, we have all the money. Buy our toys.
Buy our crappy toys that don't even look like the characters.
Yeah. So I did look it up on the between episodes. Mm-hmm. I have found out how to do story mode. So that'll be the next session. We're gonna keep doing Grand Prix until for a couple more days here. But in a couple weeks we're gonna come back with some real story time.
Real
mode.
Story, not just this fake story stuff.
Yeah, well, it was fake story. He was just training, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Captain Falcon didn't want to give up the goods.
None of the goods.
And we found out how we can like buy all the racers and the parts and stuff. I mean, it's all under customized. That should be the parts, not the racers and the story mode. You have to buy story mode sections under customized. Oh my gosh! I'm sorry if everyone just vomited right there.
I'm glad I wasn't
that
looking.
to you sometimes.
And you're dead.
And I'm dead.
Gerb.
Look at that. Oh no, you can see the curvature. Did you see the other car blow up?
Yep.
See, I'm not the only one.
It's not just me.
Did we talk about Behind the Curve on the Branch?
Behind the Curve?
Behind the Curve, the documentary on flat Earth believers?
No, I believe you briefly
I brought it up to
you,
like personally or referenced it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good documentary. I think everyone should see it. It shows you, it's a really good insight. Like everyone's like, I don't want to watch those idiots. And like the first thing I say is like, most of them aren't idiots. That's what's amazing. Like, props to this documentary crew that looked into this like, what the fuck is up with these idiots believing the Earth is flat? And you find out like, oh no, it's actually just a cult, and it actually attracts some very smart, skeptical-minded people. And kind of like
they're just barely not smart enough.
The documentary is very good at walking you through how an intelligent person can be trapped into this incredibly dumb
mindset.
Yeah, and again, I think it's a must-watch for anyone so that you can understand like some things about the human brain, its shortcomings, so that you don't feel, like this is an inoculation. Like watching something like that, it's like. You come to understand, like, I'm not doing this justice. I'm not articulating it well. But yeah, go watch it. Amarith, go watch Behind the Curve. You've got the Netflix, right? You can.
No, I don't.
You can chill at your computer for hours. You can borrow the same account I'm already borrowing on Netflix.
I mean, maybe once I've had my surgery and
Oh yeah, which surgery? You have multiple surgeries coming up. You mean getting your left nut taken out?
That's my right one.
Oh, it's your right one. I'm sorry. Because it's probably cancer.
Because I'm left-handed, so I gotta keep the left one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Speaking of cancer, my dad had skin cancer and didn't fucking tell me.
When?
This year. Like, he finally went to the dermatologist. Ugh, God damn it. He finally went to the dermatologist and got it looked at because he went to his regular doctor. And he's like, hey, what's the deal with this? And he's like, you should go to a dermatologist. And he went to the dermatologist. And the dermatologist is like, it's cancer. It's no big deal. Because melanoma is really no big deal unless, they don't catch it for 5 years because they keep telling you it's nothing.
Yeah.
Not that we ever knew anyone.
Not that's never happened to anyone that I knew.
Not that ever killed anyone's mom that's in this room right now.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
No one's ever not bitter about that.
Yeah. What's a real shame is melanoma is you already.
Yes.
know. I'm saying it to the audience.
It's so preventable.
It's so literally they cut it off. They don't even have to do radiation treatment if you catch it in stage 1 or 2, and it stays in stage 1 or 2 for years. So yeah, you got that weird thing on your skin? Go see a doctor, especially if you're in one of those countries with communist socialized medicine and free healthcare.
You have to wait in line so long to get your healthcare done.
Oh, that bothers me so much. So okay, so the thing that they complain about, when people are shit talking Canada, we don't want a Canadian health system. They have to wait in lines for healthcare, and like Amarith.
Meanwhile,
when did you first approach your doctor about this lump in your
this was about regions? 2-3 months ago.
Okay, when are you finally getting surgery on that?
Month and a half from now. So total inoculation time between first step with doctor to full removal is about 5.5 months.
And then there might be treatment after that. You might have to go through chemo. You might have to get radiation treatment. But you won't even have gotten to that for 6 months. Ow, that hurt.
But Canada healthcare.
But Canada must be so terrible. Yeah.
That's why every time I've texted you that I'm waiting forever in the waiting room, it's but Canada is a worse alternative.
Yeah. Well, what's super dumb about it is all these complaints. Yeah, we already have that in America. Plus, we ration healthcare based off of your birth, circumstances of your birth. Were you born rich? Okay, you get to live. Were you not born rich? Sorry, this medical element is a death sentence. America.
Too bad. Don't you just hate it?
I mean, it has some good things. We are actually one of the least racist countries in the world. I know it doesn't seem like it, but we are actually a relatively tolerant society. We could be better. Everyone could always be better.
We're just slowly turning into Nazi Germany.
It does seem like we're going on a downhill politically, but I think the average person is still getting better.
Because one of my friends posted
trumping times.
Yeah, one of my friends posted something on Facebook, and it's fairly accurate. We're approaching a time where 1/3 of the population is willing to kill another third of the population, while the other third of the population just watches.
Yeah. Well, what's that famous line? Never underestimate the ability of the willingness of a liberal to align with a fascist when things get tough. Something like that.
Never heard that.
It's the quote or something like that. It's effectively people that classically consider themselves liberals, not just people that say I'm a classical liberal, but people that call themselves liberals from the 1990s because they're okay with gay people getting married, but they still want massive tax cuts for the ultra wealthy. They want to continue the.
I thought a classic liberal would be like Beethoven or something.
So anyway, yeah, those people, they are the Joe Bidens of the world, and they will sell you out whenever it helps.
And just touch you because that's the only way they know how to communicate to people.
This was that was a good insight that Adam brought to us, because when he was breaking up with his ex-girlfriend that I guess he's finally getting over. He was talking about this languages of love thing, which our friend Amy knows all about too, because their ex-girlfriend talked about this a lot. But yeah, it seems like it's actually this really insightful thing. I don't know if it's how true it is, but if you want to Google this thing, it's called Languages of Love, and it's how certain people act differently. But you know what? We'll talk about this more next time on The Branch. Next time on The Branch.
But like
next time on the branch.